we'll start with this. Who's the next Zoo to fight, Tim or Nikita?
Oh, great question. Great question. Um,
For the first time for 2025, here he is, the one and only George Rose, the CEO of No Limit Boxing. And look, I've seen you glowing before, mate, but for the announcement for what we're about to talk about, there's a little bit of an extra grin. What's going on with you?
look, man, it just feels good to be back. I think we had a good break, on the back end of last year, but it just feels good to have the fights rolling on again. And today was pretty awesome. So really excited to be seeing Keith Thurman roll to Sydney in another month's time. I think it'll be great.
When that name starts flying around on text or email or all that, firstly, I guess maybe let's start there. How did that come about? Like, obviously, we've been across the Tim Tszyu Thurman connection, but was there ongoing chats?
Well, look, Keith wanted to get back in the ring. He's been keen to fight again. What happened for us was off the back of Brock's fantastic performance, moving up in weight and getting back in the ring. Everybody wanted a piece of him, and off the back of that, he just said, "Look, I just want a big fight. Get me a big fight." And Thurman was available. We made it happen, and both said yes. So here we are in what will be, a perfect way for us to start 2025. I couldn't have asked for a better fight to kick off the year.
I've seen footage in the UFC of Dana White having they call the war room. Do you have a similar setup at HQ No Limit, where maybe you sit around and who goes about Keith?
Yeah, well, look, we do, we actually do it quite a bit, and it's important that we do it because
Okay.
um, if we're not passing those ideas around, then things don't pop up because sometimes it's left field. Keith Thurman's very left field.
Hmm.
The opportunity to fight a former unified world champion, one of the great mouthpieces of boxing, one of the real salesmen, the real exciting guys that you can get for a promotion. It's rare that you get that opportunity. And I think, again, very grateful for our relationship with PBC that we're able to get this to happen. And Keith Thurman in Australia, that's one of them ones that comes from left field, but it ends up happening and makes for a great year.
As someone who's interviewed Keith Thurman and needed a lie down after it, I'm well aware of what he's like. And to be honest, we loved having Tony Harrison here. Wasn't he awesome?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think Australia's a great country where you can be like that and we're not, this guy's a dickhead. Like it
Yeah.
is, the theatre's embraced to a point.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's what professional boxing's about too.
Yeah.
What you can do in the ring is very important, but people want to be entertained as well. And I want to be entertained. I want the excitement that comes with it. And Keith Thurman brings that in spades. And Brock Jarvis gets to fight him in the ring, gets his opportunity there. But Keith Thurman here in Sydney for a good couple of weeks leading up to that fight too. Anything can happen.
It is pretty interesting to go and scroll on his box rec, maybe say, let's say March 13, and you see his only two losses are Manny Pacquiao and Brock Jarvis. I mean, that's wild to say out loud, isn't it?
I like that. I like that. I'm,
Good,
I'm
huh?
all for that. I think that'll be fantastic. I'd love to see Brock get that result. But yeah, like you said, his box rec, his resume is crazy. I jumped on his box rec earlier today, and I just thought, man, you look at them last five fights that he's had. That's ridiculous. That's a crazy resume.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And obviously, the show that he puts on as well is a whole lot of fun. So we're looking forward to seeing him there. And at the iconic Horden Pavilion, I've seen that on a Nikita Zoo fight night, and that lights up. It's good venue too and historic. And it'd be great to see Brock in those big fights too, because I think the Australian public would love to see him in those. We'd love to see him successful in those, more importantly.
Yeah, Brock's a star. Brock's a star. And I mean, I said it earlier today, when he walks into a room, he turns heads. People feel his presence when he's around. And the fact that every boxer, even close to his weight range, tried to call him out when he was back in action, it's because they know that just like with Nikita or Tim, you get an opportunity in the ring against Brock Jarvis and you get a chance to make a name for yourself. Brock is a star that just hasn't had the opportunity to showcase that on a bigger stage yet again. And I think a win over Keith Thurman, it just opens the door for him. Suddenly he's in the mix with all of those exciting fights that exist in the super welterweight, middleweight divisions.
He mentioned today in the press conference about Tim Tszyu as well. He spoke at length about he tried to drop the Mexico stuff. Not many people picked up on what he was trying to take, so it sort of flew over the top. But he
Yeah.
was definitely looking to come out here and probably make some noise and see if that is a potential to bring that fight back to the table. Is it?
Yeah, well, look, Tim will be in camp at the same time that he's out here, so it'll be interesting to see what the interaction is there because both of them are looking to get in the ring early this year and get in and really make a statement. So, statement from Thurman, a statement from Tim in his return fight. Anything's possible.
It's pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to this one. It is interesting because said at the start of the episode, but I did mean it because I've seen you announce a lot of fights, but for some reason there was just this extra bit of glow about you today, where it was like I know something that you don't, and this is awesome. So it's that kind of, I guess that's the buzz of the sport, right? And that's why we love it.
Yeah, well, and it was so left field. I don't think a lot of people were expecting this to be the big announcement coming today, and that's why it's a little treat as well. It's not just we know that there's an Nikita fight coming, we know there's a Tim fight coming, but this was just that little left field little treat that everyone gets to kick off the year, and I think it's a great way to do it. Boxing's back for 2025, and we're going to have a lot of really good shows this year. I'm really excited about the shows that we do have just around the corner, but this one is the one that'll set it up and set the standard for what we expect to see from everyone through the rest of the year.
Well, Michael Zerafa, always on that card. Now, the last time I saw you, by chance, I was walking out of the back of Brock's fight, walking through the Star Casino in Sydney, and Michael Zerafa had you cornered in the food court of the Star Casino, peppering you for opportunity. Oh, like he was like, "Get me Nikita, get me Tim." It was a legit thing, and it was no one else around. It was just me and one of the journos walking out, and we saw him one on one, really pushing for some more, right? And I guess you've delivered once again for him.
And that's what you want. You want fighters who are hungry to fight. You want fighters who are keen to get out there and get amongst it and put himself out there. I don't think there's a person who puts himself out there in Australian boxing more than Michael Zerafa does. He puts himself out there and it sets him up for criticism and hate from different sides. But he's got no problems with putting himself out there, but also getting in the ring and backing it up. So that's what he wants to do. He's talked the talk now. He wants to be getting in and showing what he can do in the ring. The more that he keeps doing that, the more interest there's going to be in him and the more buzz there's going to be around him to have big fights here in Australia.
I really, really hope that he puts on a really good performance. I would love to see it. I mean, his last one obviously ended a bit early, 30 seconds in. Lara didn't go the way as planned, but I guess you
Yeah.
want to see something enough to go like, I think he's definitely got it there. I think he just needs the rounds, right? And I think it's something that I just want to see him. It'd be nice to see him get in there and go, shit, Zerafa is actually a real, because obviously the Zoo threat, people are like, Tim will walk
Yeah.
over and Makita would beat him, but I want him to put a performance on that might question those people and go, shit, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. And he has done it in the past. I mean, he fought his way to being in a mandatory position to fight for a world title. That doesn't happen without getting some great wins and having some skill to back you up. And I mean, the knockout victory over Isaac Hardman, a lot of people didn't see that coming. A lot of people thought Hardman would be the one who knocked out Michael Zerafa. Zerafa looked outstanding and knocked him out cold. So he was, he was very impressive in that. He's been impressive in a lot of performances that he's had over his career. The thing is, I think with Michael is that he hasn't had regular activity. He hasn't been committed to a promotional company to really continue to see his career thrive, and that's the position he's in now. If he wants fights, we'll put him on. We've got a lot of shows that we're doing this year. We're doing a lot of shows this year. So if he wants to keep fighting, we'll keep putting him on. We'll keep rolling him out, and you keep winning. You keep climbing the tree, and eventually. He's shaking that zoo tree, so he's looking for the opportunity there. So eventually, something's going to give, and we'll see some great fights from him.
Yeah, Matteo Tapia, obviously another one named on the card. It's going to be good to A, get him back home, and B, after that performance in Orlando, which was it was a fight. That was every
Yeah.
to the word there.
Yeah,
a lot of potential for him to go even further. And he said he wants 3 fights this year, and it's March.
yeah. Look, arguably one of the fights of the year last year. The heart that he showed to get back up and drop Saavedra the way that he did, it shows the character of Matteo, and I think given the trajectory that his career has had, it was a really good experience for him. Knowing that he wants to go to the top, it was a great experience for him to go through that, face that adversity, and have to fight back from it. Really have to claw back from it. He showed what he's made of, and I think with activity this year, an opportunity, he's gonna really show what he can do in that division. And I know, he's willing to fight anyone. He's excited about fighting anyone. I'm happy to have him back on a card in Sydney, because I know he gets some great support here in Sydney as well, because he hasn't been here a whole lot of late. So anytime he's in Sydney, I know the boys on the beaches, all the Narrabeen boys, all get keen to get behind him.
That's the bit that makes me laugh. You don't really associate like the cool surfy dude with like punching people's faces in. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's a whole another thing, very chilled and
No.
very earthy. No, but when you can fight, you can fight. It's just a blessing that some people are born with.
Yeah, and I had his last fight at the Horton, happened to be about 1.5 meters away from his old man, who gets very invested in his fights. So I might stretch that distance out a little bit more on the next one. But very passionate, and I loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Obviously,
it's good. He's got
tickets,
great support here. It's unreal.
yeah, Ticket Tech, you'll be able to get your tickets there on sale right now. So go do that. But also, before that, March 1, you announced Liam Wilson and Yui Dib the other day. Now, I don't know. I love it, and we all want to see it. But is it like Liam Wilson wins? This is putting it all on the line for Yui, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah. Look, it's a great opportunity for you, and for Liam. I think I think it's an important one for Liam for how he approaches this. I think going into that last fight, I had Yui Dib leading. I thought he was really impressive in those early rounds, and Liam caught him with that beautiful punch, that knockout of the year punch, that got him the win. And I think how he approaches this fight is that Liam should be approaching it to aim to not be in that situation again, to be winning every round, and really stamping his authority on anyone that may have had question marks over what happens in that fight if Liam didn't land that punch. I think he gets the chance to answer those and really put everyone to bed on who is the better fighter and who's heading up. And I think Liam's got to make sure that he takes advantage of that for Yui. Man, huge opportunity to avenge that loss, and he's got everything to gain from this. Absolutely got everything to gain.
Yeah, I saw Yui was in camp with Liam Paro too, so I could imagine that he's had some good work over the last 6 months. And yeah, that was yeah, it was close, and then all of a sudden, a left hook from hell, as they call it, did what it does, and all
Beautiful.
she wrote. So we'll see what happens again there. Two quick ones. Sam Goodman, obviously supposed to be days away from being
Yeah,
undisputed champion of the world. When, what, who, what, huh? Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. It's just a shame, but
yeah.
ultimately we'll see what happens.
It's going to be a tough one to watch that fight this weekend, knowing that Sam was on the brink of getting that huge opportunity, potentially having the biggest upset in Australian boxing history, and knowing that it's just slipped by. As far as Sam's going, it's a tough weekend for him. He won't want to watch it, but you know he will still tune in and see what's happening in his division. But recovery for him, recovery, get that eye right, get the healing done, and then get back on the horse, get back into it. He's still, mate. He fought himself into a position to be regarded as the number one challenger to Naoya in a way, and I think that he'll just get back on the horse and get back into that position again, because he's fought everyone that was available. He's beat everyone that was available, and he stayed active while waiting for that mandatory shot. And sometimes things just don't fall our way. Unfortunately, that's the way it went for Sam with the injury. But once he heals properly, we'll give him plenty of time to heal properly, and then we'll make sure that we get him back, get him active again, and get him back in that position to fight for world titles again.
Which could be the next fight ultimately. I guess we all never know what Monster's going to do, but if he wins the next fight, which I imagine he will, there's a chance he vacates, and then there's a vacant title for Tim to fight, following for Sam to fight for, potentially at home, even. Who knows? Winning a world title in his backyard.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, the big money fight in that division is in a way. Outside of that, the the prize on offer for world title shots in that division is not as lucrative as it is against Inouye. So, for us, it opens that door to be able to do it here at home as well. So, Sam will keep fighting himself into that position. Sam is a world champion. He just hasn't had his opportunity yet. He will be a world champion without a doubt. He's the best in the division, and whoever else is out there, whoever else wants it, whatever way the cards fall from here going forward, Sam will keep fighting himself into a position to be a world champion.
Well, we look forward to that. And the comment section would slay me unless I went asked what's going on with the Tszyu. So, Tim Tszyu, Nikita Tszyu, have we got something happening? I think we'll start with this. Who's the next Tszyu to fight, Tim or Nikita?
Oh, great question. Great question. And I'm not going to answer it.
I can see it ducking.
But both have fight announcements coming soon. Both are looking to be very active in 2025, which is great for me. It's great for Australian boxing, and knowing that we're going to have a lot of really good shows with them involved in it this year is really exciting. So both are keen to get back in the ring, and both are keen to be active. That's all I'll give you for now, but we will have an announcement very soon for both of the boys.
Saw some footage of Kostya in his board shorts with a bodyboard down the beach, just shredding the going full Matteo Tapia style. So some training for him. I saw him in with Nikita one-on-one. Have the boys mentioned anything to you about what went down? And I'm sure there were some pointers that come from Kostya being the man he is.
No, well, I think it's been a great time for the family, off the back of the wedding. There was a lot of family that traveled in for the wedding and spent a bit extra time here as well. So it's been a really good vibe around the Tszyu family households over the summer break. So I think both of them are feeling refreshed coming into it, and it was good to see Kostya getting in some work with the boys as well too. Getting back into his old stomping grounds. I just think it's so cool that the place that he built a career in there at Rockdale, the boys are fighting out of the same gym and training and going through the same methods and processes. And for Kostya to impart some of his wisdom on the boys, like Nikita's a lot bigger and a lot stronger now than he was last time that Kostya would have held the pads for him. So it would have been a nice surprise for him to see the power that Nikita has developed and what he's continuing to do as he continues to grow as a fighter.
Well, we'll see how 2025 pans out. Like you said, a whole bunch of shows looking to go. We love to see when we see a little teaser saying there's a no limit announcement. I'm yet to see a bad one. So, I mean, we're always pumped. I was trying to play clues with the last one. First thing I looked down, I was like, is there a New South Wales government tag? And I'm like, okay, it's probably not Tim's announcement. What could it be? And then obviously, ultimately, it came out. Keith Thurman, Brock Jarvis, 12th of March, Sydney's Horton Pavilion. Ticket tech for your tickets, and it's going to be one hell of a night. If you can't be in the room, get the pay-per-view because, geez, sit back and watch that bad boy. It's going to be awesome. But if you can get your tickets, don't miss it because that'll be awesome.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a good one to see live, and great undercard as well too. So either way, whether you're there sitting up watching it live and feeling the energy in the venue, or you're watching at home, it's going to be a great card to tune in early for and see the rising stars on their way through and the guys that are going to make some big noise this year.
George Rose, thanks again.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.